Missing 411 cases, a type of case that is often referred to as mysterious disappearance, often involving unusual circumstances, minimal or no clues to why they suddenly disappeared. Another odd thing about these cases is that they typically occur in national parks and wilderness areas worldwide. The missing 411 term, coined by David Paldiz, a former police detective who gained prominence for his investigations into these mysterious disappearances. He is the author of the Missing 411 series of books, where he documents and analyzes these very odd cases. And this is what we will be covering in today's video: Missing 411 cases. And we will go into depth for all of these cases. And I've always wanted to make a video like this. And also, if you guys seem to enjoy this video, I will turn this into a series. So please let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see videos like this in the future. And also, please subscribe to the channel. It's the channel's goal to be at 250,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so please consider subscribing. But without further ado, welcome to Unexplainable Missing 411 Cases. Dennis Martin. In the heart of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, a family camping trip turned into a heartbreaking mystery that still puzzles people today. Dennis Martin, a lively 6-year-old from Knoxville, Tennessee, disappeared without a trace during a camping trip on Father's Day weekend in 1969. What started as a fun outing for the Martin family quickly turned into a frantic search and a series of unanswered questions that remain unsolved. The Martin family, including Dennis, his dad William, his grandpa Clyde, and his older brother Douglas, went on a regular trip into the beautiful Great Smoky Mountains. Camping in the wilderness was something they loved, a time for bonding and enjoying nature's beauty. They started from Cascades Cove and camped overnight at Russell Field. Then, they moved on to Spence Field along the Appalachian Trail for another night under the stars. On June 14th, 1969, the day Dennis went missing. The weather in the park was typical for early summer, warm with a chance of afternoon showers. At their camp at Spence Field, Dennis and his brother Douglas, along with kids from another family nearby, planned a surprise for the adults. The children scattered to prepare, with Dennis going behind a bush, likely to hide for the surprise. Dennis's dad, William, had been keeping an eye on the children playing. When Dennis didn't return after a few minutes, William grew worried but thought his son might just be taking longer to set up the surprise. However, as more time passed and although the children came back without Dennis, William started to panic. Realizing Dennis was missing, William immediately began searching the area around Spence Field. He called out Dennis's name and looked through the bushes and trees for any sign of his son. As minutes turned into hours without finding Dennis, William's worry grew. The rough terrain and thick trees of the Smokies made the search even harder. Later that afternoon, the Martin family, joined by other campers and eventually National Park Service rangers, organized a big search. They looked around Spence Field and expanded into nearby trails and hills. Despite their efforts, night fell with no sign of Dennis. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park is known for its beauty, but also has very tough environmental challenges. The land is steep with dense forests, and weather that can change quickly. The day Dennis disappeared, the weather got worse with a sudden heavy rainstorm. The rain made the ground muddy and caused streams to swell, making it very hard to search some areas. The drop in temperature at night was another worry, especially for Dennis being so young and possibly unprepared for a cold night outdoors. With each hour that passed, the urgency to find Dennis grew, knowing the dangers he could face alone in the wilderness. Understanding how serious Dennis's disappearance was, park officials started a large search with many resources. National Park Service rangers worked with local police, volunteers, and even military teams like the National Guard and Green Berets. The big search showed how serious finding Dennis was and the determination for the entire community to bring him back safely. In the days after Dennis went missing, the search got even bigger. Helicopters with special cameras flew over the park to look for any heat that might show Dennis was nearby. Ground teams carefully searched specific areas, following maps and doing detailed sweeps of the park's big area. Even with all the people and technology, the tough land and bad weather made it very hard to search. Heavy rain kept falling after Dennis disappeared, making it even harder to look for him. The nice trails became muddy and hard to walk on. Fog and mist made it hard to see far. adding to the worry and making it harder to find any sign of Dennis. The hard landscape of the Great Smoky Mountains was both beautiful and dangerous for a search and rescue mission. Steep hills, big rocks, and thick trees made it tough for searchers to move around and find clues. Each day brought new problems and made everyone keep working hard to find Dennis. As people heard about Dennis Martin disappearing, they wanted to help. Neighbors from nearby towns and cities came to help the Martin family. Volunteers from hiking groups, churches, and clubs all joined the search. The support wasn't just people helping search. Local groups gave food and clothes to the search teams, making sure they had what they needed to keep going. People donated money to help with things like gas for helicopters and things the teams needed to keep searching. Finding Dennis Martin was a big search, one of the biggest the park had ever had. The search covered a big part of the park, around 56 square miles. Special teams like the Green Berets and National Guard helped with their skills and tools that were a specialty for them. Helicopters looked from above, watching for any sign of Dennis. People on the ground worked in teams, searching everywhere in a careful way to make sure they didn't miss any place Dennis might be. While the search for Dennis went on, it was hard on everyone looking for him. The Martin family was obviously very sad and worried, not knowing what happened to Dennis. As time passed and Dennis wasn't found, people started to think about what might have happened to him. Park officials and others had different ideas what could have happened to him, such as being lost in the wilderness. Park officials thought Dennis might have gotten lost and just couldn't find his way back. The tough land and bad weather could have made it hard for him to stay safe. Another was wildlife encounter. Some people thought Dennis might have met an animal like a bear or big pig that hurt him and took him away. Animals like that do live in the Smokies, and they could have hurt a young boy alone in the woods. Other people, like Dennis's dad, William Martin, thought someone might have taken Dennis away in an abduction. There was a report of a strange person seen near where Dennis was last seen, but it wasn't clear if that person had anything to do with Dennis disappearing. The search didn't find enough proof to say what really happened to Dennis. Each idea showed how dangerous it can be to be in the Great Smoky Mountains, where nature is big and wild. The community showed how much they cared about Dennis and the family. The story of Dennis Martin's disappearance was big news. People all over the country watched and read about what was happening in the Great Smoky Mountains. The story of a young boy missing in a big national park made people worried. It made people think about how big and wild nature can be and how safe national parks are. After Dennis Martin disappeared, the park to look at how they can do search and rescue. They learned from looking for Dennis how to be better in the future. They made new plans and got new ways to help if someone else got lost. They wanted to do better and kept people safe in the big, wild Smoky Mountains. Although, even after many years, people still think about Dennis Martin. His family still hopes for answers. The park keeps looking for ways to make sure people stay safe and don't get lost. Dennis Martin's story is a reminder of how big and wild nature can be and how important it is to be careful and ready. Michael Heron. In the rugged and densely forested terrain of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, the disappearance of Michael Heron remains a haunting mystery. Michael Heron, a 35-year-old experienced hiker and outdoorsman from Knoxville, Tennessee, vanished without a trace during a solo backpacking trip in the remote and challenging landscape of the park. Michael Heron was an avid adventurer who frequently explored the trails and backcountry of the Great Smoky Mountains. Michael, known for his meticulous planning and love of nature photography, meticulously prepared for his journey, ensuring he had adequate camping gear, food supplies, and navigation equipment, so he just was really ready for this. On June 20th, 1985, Michael Heron set out on his planned route through the park's challenging backcountry trails. He informed friends and family of his itinerary and expected return date, intending to enjoy several days immersed in nature's beauty and solitude. Michael's journey took him deep into the heart of the Smokies, where he hoped to capture the park's scenic vistas and wildlife through the camera lens. As days passed without communication from Michael, concern grew slowly among his loved ones. When he failed to return as scheduled, though, his family alerted park authorities, initiating a search and rescue operation that would span weeks and involve multiple agencies and volunteers. Park rangers, aided by specialized search teams and volunteers from surrounding communities, launched a comprehensive search effort to locate Michael Heron. The operation focused on areas where Michael was believed to have hiked. Utilizing helicopters equipped with infrared cameras, ground teams employing search dogs, and mountaineering units skilled in navigating the park's rugged terrain, the search for Michael Heron faced significant challenges posed by the Great Smoky Mountains' dense forests, steep slopes, and unpredictable weather conditions. Despite these obstacles, search teams remained dedicated and resilient in their efforts to find any trace of Michael Herron. As days turned into weeks and search operation expanded to encompass more remote and less accessible regions of the park, driven by the determination to hopefully bring Michael home safely. Michael Herron's disappearance garnered widespread media attention nationwide, with news outlets reporting on the unfolding search efforts and updates from park authorities. The story of an experienced hiker vanishing in the vast wilderness of the Great Smoky Mountains captured the public's imagination and concern, showing the inherent risks and mysteries associated with outdoor exploration. Although some were scared that something may be going on in the Great Smoky Mountains because, what our first story was, he disappeared. And now Michael Herron's disappeared. It's a lot of stuff going on in the Great Smoky Mountains. But anyways, decades after Michael Herron's disappearance, his fate still remains unknown, leaving many unanswered questions and enduring sorrow for his family, his friends, and the Knoxville community. Harold Backer. The disappearance of Harold Backer, a former Canadian Olympic cyclist turned investment advisor, has left a community and his family grappling with unanswered questions since his sudden vanishing in 2015. Harold Backer's case remains a puzzling mystery, marked by initial confusion over his whereabouts and subsequent developments that have deepened the intrigue surrounding his disappearance. Harold Backer, born and raised in Victoria, British Columbia, was a celebrated athlete who represented Canada in cycling at the 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. Harold pursued a career in finance and investment advising, establishing himself as a respected figure in the local community. On November 3rd, 2015, Harold Backer left his home in Victoria under mysterious circumstances, telling his family that he was going for a bike ride, but he never returned. Concern grew when Harold failed to show up for his scheduled appointments and did not respond to attempts to contact him. His sudden and unexpected absence sparked an immediate search effort and public appeal for information about his whereabouts. Victoria Police launched an extensive search operation, focusing on areas where Harold was known to frequent and tracing his last known movements. Friends, family, and concerned citizens joined the search effort, distributing flyers, organizing community searches, and sharing information on social media platforms in hopes of generating leads that could assist in locating Harold Backer. The disappearance of Harold Backer garnered significant media attention, with news outlets covering the unfolding search efforts and updates from investigators. The story captured the public's interest and concern, prompting widespread speculation about the circumstances around Harold's sudden disappearance and his possible whereabouts. As weeks turned into months without any sign of Harold Backer, the investigation into his disappearance took on new dimensions. Authorities examined financial records and interviewed associates to uncover any clues that might shed light on Harold's whereabouts or provide insight into his state of mind leading up to his disappearance. Investigators explored various theories, including the possibility that Harold Backer may have been intentionally disappeared or encountered unforeseen circumstances during his bike ride. The absence of concrete evidence and conflicting witness accounts complicated efforts to establish a clear timeline of events leading up to his disappearance. Despite extensive search efforts and ongoing investigative work, Harold Backer's disappearance remains unresolved, leaving lingering questions and profound sorrow for his family and the community. The passage of time has not diminished hope, however, for closure or the commitment to uncovering the truth about what happened to Harold on that fateful day in November 2015. Randy Morganson. The disappearance of Randy Morganson, a seasoned backcountry ranger in California Kings Canyon National Park, remains a haunting mystery that unfolded in the rugged wilderness in 1996. Randy Morganson's case is marked by his deep love for the wilderness, his extensive experience as a ranger, and the challenges of searching for a lost individual in vast and unforgiving terrain. Randy Morganson was a dedicated ranger who spent over 28 years patrolling the remote and challenging landscapes of Kings Canyon National Park. He was born with a passion for the outdoors and a natural inclination for adventure. Randy pursued a career that allowed him to combine his love for wilderness exploration and his commitment to conservation and public service. His expertise in wilderness survival, map-making skills, and intimate knowledge for the park's trails and ecosystems earned him respect among his peers and admiration for the local community. Throughout his career, Randy Morganson became renowned for his meticulous approach to background patrols and his dedication to maintaining the natural beauty and integrity of Kings Canyon National Park. His daily responsibilities included monitoring trail conditions, conducting wildlife surveys, assisting park visitors, and ensuring the preservation of delicate ecosystem within the park's boundaries. Randy's role extended beyond just routine duties. He served as a mentor to younger rangers and an advocate for environmental stewardship, instilling a sense of respect and responsibility for the wilderness and those he encountered. Although, in July 1986, Randy Morganson embarked on a routine patrol mission in Kings Canyon National Park, setting out from his base camp with the intention of surveying remote trails and conducting routine maintenance on backcountry facilities. His departure was met with clear skies and mild temperatures, typical of the region's summer climate. As he ventured deeper into the park's expansive wilderness, however, as hours passed and Randy failed to return to his base camp as scheduled, concern among his colleagues and park officials intensified. Upon realizing that Randy Morganson was missing, Kings Canyon National Park swiftly mobilized an extensive search and rescue operation, leveraging the expertise of park rangers, specialized search teams, and volunteers familiar with the rugged terrain. Helicopters equipped with infrared cameras scout the park's vast expanse from above, while ground teams equipped with search dogs comb through the high-probability areas identified through Randy's last known whereabouts and patrol routes. The search for Randy Morganson encountered formidable challenges posed by the Kings Canyon's rugged terrain. Dense forests and unpredictable weather conditions, summer storms, steep cliffs, and the park's remote location all hindered search efforts, complicating visibility and navigation for search teams tasked with locating Randy amidst the vast wilderness. Although, despite all of these obstacles, search efforts persisted for weeks, with teams remaining steadfast in their commitment to finding Randy and bringing him home safely. Although, as years have passed, Randy Morganson's disappearance remains an unresolved mystery that continues to evoke solemn reflection and renewed efforts to preserve the natural beauty and wilderness integrity of Kings Canyon National Park. His story is one of uniqueness because he just disappeared in the middle of nowhere and there's no trace of where he could have gone. And after all this time, he is still not found and a missing person, and it's unlikely he will ever be found or know what happened to him. And alright, that wraps up Unexplainable Missing 411 Cases. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed it as well. And if you'd like to see it turn into a series, please let me know down in the comments below, because I would love to turn this into a series. The Reddit Stories series is still going, and also the Unsolved Mysteries series. I'd love to have a few series going on the channel at one time. That'd be really fun. And icebergs, of course. But let me know what you'd like to see in the future. Leave a comment down below what you thought about this video, what can improve, what can change, and make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot. And alright, until next time, thank you for watching. See ya.